The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, Week 9. Injury report and rankings update. If you hit the description right now, click on the rankings. They're all updated. And if you're looking for the DraftKings ownership show, that's already up both on the podcast and YouTube feeds as well. Jeff Ulrich and I broke down most of the injuries and how they correspond to ownership this week in the Week 9 DraftKings Millionaire Maker. Please smash the like button on the episode, and if you want to get into a draw for $20 DK, do that. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section and let me know, who do you think is the better play this week? Aldrick Robinson or Laquon Treadwell? I'm curious to find out. I'll announce the winner live on Monday's show, 10 a.m. Eastern Time on the DraftKings YouTube channel. Plus, I will be live again every Sunday, like I am, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, daylight savings time, so you get the extra hour to sleep in. Then tune in to the Pat Mayo Experience. Garion and Tim will be joining me to take your questions, break down all the games, all the latest injuries, all the actives, inactives, anything you want. So be there for that. And always, just set the reminder. It's already up, so you can set the reminder so you never miss a second. Let's get into the injuries. Raheem Mostert broke his arm in the Thursday night game. He's been put on IR. He's done for the year. The big news from Friday is Stefon Diggs hadn't practiced Wednesday or Thursday. He tried to come back with a rib injury on Friday, left practice. He's probably not going to play this week against the Lions. So what does that do? Obviously, it bumps up Adam Thielen. He was already number 1 in my rankings, and he's going to remain number 1. So you have Laquon Treadwell. He played 63% of the snaps last week, 74% 2 weeks ago. He's $3,300 on DraftKings too. Aldrick Robinson played 23% of the snaps last week and 12% the week before. He's $3,200 on DraftKings. So from a season-long perspective, I actually like Robinson more than I like Treadwell. Treadwell's doing what he's doing. He's on the field enough anyway, and frankly, not generating that many targets. He should see a slight uptick. However, Aldrick Robinson, a big play guy, has already scored 2 touchdowns in 1 game this season and gets usage in the red zone and anytime like they throw to the end zone. Aldrick Robinson's already dialed up. So you can expect his snap share to probably increase from that mid-20s up into the 50, maybe even 65%, like what Treadwell was seeing anyway. And I feel like that just makes him more valuable in this matchup up against the Lions in a game that's sneaky shootout, not probably the highest scoring game of the week. But if you do need help at wide receiver and you missed out on Courtland Sutton, or you're looking for a really cheap guy on DraftKings, Aldrick Robinson is my preference over Laquon Treadwell. I've also boosted up Kyle Rudolph in the tight end rankings for the week. With the Chargers, Melvin Gordon practiced in full on Friday, so he's good to go. Another guy that's going criminally underowned in DraftKings. I bumped down Austin Eckler a little bit because it does look like in a close game that Melvin Gordon should see around 70 to 80% of the snaps. With the Rams, Cooper Kupp has been taken off the injury report. He's fully ready to go. You can move Josh Reynolds, you can cut him, you can do whatever you want with him. Just don't play him this week against the Saints, because he's not going to be on the field very much with Cooper Kupp returning. New England, Gronk, Edelman, and Gordon are all questionable after limited practices on Friday. All 3 are expected to play Sunday night against the Packers. The bigger question mark is Sony Michel. He also got in a limited practice. However, when you're making lineup decisions come Sunday, where it is the Sunday night game, that you're going to have some problems here if you need to fill in. So number 1, if you have the ability to do, if you have 2 good running backs anyway, and you don't have a receiver good enough, just move Sony Michel into your flex, because that gives you more options to move away from in case at the last second he's not good to go. And if we don't find out, we're not going to hear that news until like 7 p.m. Eastern when it comes to Sunday, so you're not going to have a whole complement of people. The guys that you could potentially go pick up or play in his place, Jamal Williams, I prefer over Kenyon Burner, but those are the 2. Derrick Henry is like lingering on some waiver wires, probably not available in most leagues, but he plays in the Monday night game. Those would be the 3 to look at as running back replacements, and in order, I like Williams, then Henry, then Burner if Sony Michel cannot go and you need the replacement. In Green Bay, Geronimo Allison injured his groin on Thursday, DNP on Friday. He is now doubtful, probably not going to play. I've adjusted the rankings. I've actually moved Marquez Valdez-Scantling above Randall Cobb and inside the top 35 in my wide receiver rankings this week for the Sunday Nighter. I like him a little bit more. He played more snaps than Randall Cobb did last week anyway. Equanimeous St. Brown actually got a bump up too. Not super high because I have no idea how much he's going to play, but Allison looks like he is going to be inactive. Make other plans. Valdez-Scantling now a very good play up against the Patriots. In Denver, Royce Freeman still dealing with an ankle injury, limited on Friday. Not sure if he's going to play or not. I wouldn't count on him playing, but that is a situation to monitor if you're playing Phillip Lindsay or you're streaming Devontae Booker in PPR leagues just to get some extra points. If Freeman plays, you have to bump both of those guys way down. I wouldn't play Freeman. Frankly, I don't think he's going to play. He's banged up with a high ankle sprain. He shouldn't be playing, but if he does, that just cuts into all their market share. Phillip Lindsay would still be a play, but just not a great play or a very good automatic start like he would be if Royce Freeman sits. Tyreek Hill and his groin, practice on full on Friday, taken off the injury report. So fire up some Tyreek Hill. That's great news for the Kansas City offense. Even going up against Cleveland, anytime you have Tyreek Hill, you got to play Tyreek Hill. Chris Carson has a hip and groin injury. He's expected to play. This happened in week 4. Let's not forget that this hip injury cropped up, and then all of a sudden, last second, Chris Carson not playing anymore. So if you're relying on Chris Carson this week, you may want to go pick up Mike Davis, because if there's no Chris Carson, Mike Davis probably morphs into a top 15 running back this week. I would expect him to get around 70, 80% of the snaps, all the goal line work. Rashad Penny would get worked in here and there, but it's very clear that they like Mike Davis more than Penny at this point. If Carson plays, you play him. You probably have to dial him back a little bit. I've bumped him down in the rankings to number 20, I believe it is, and still, Mike Davis is a bench. But if he does sit, and this is something for DraftKings too in terms of the late swap, because this is a later game, that if you do see last second that Carson is out, pivot on to Mike Davis. He's $3,400. He would be a fantastic play, and people do not utilize the late swap the way they should on DraftKings, and he'll be like 1-2% owned max, even if Chris Carson sits, unless we hear this information come out on Saturday or Sunday morning, which frankly, we won't. So he is expected to play, so don't count on that, but in the 10% chance that he doesn't, have that contingency plan in place for week 9. Kiki Cutie practiced on a limited basis on Friday. He's expected to play. Not a guarantee, but he is expected to play against Denver this week. Obviously, he's playing the slot. Demaryius Thomas should be playing the outside. Those guys could swap, but that's how I would expect it to go down. I like DT slightly more this week than Kiki. Long term, I do prefer Kiki Cutie over Demaryius Thomas in that Texans offense, though. Carolina, there's the big one. Torrey Smith is out. He's already been ruled out. So last week, DJ Moore played 71% of the snaps, Curtis Samuel played 40%, and Jarius Wright played 26%. DJ Moore's a fine play this week, but do not expect him to, put it this way, he's either going to score a little bit or a lot, because he has 0 red zone targets so far in 2018. When the Panthers get down in that range, they throw to Funchess, they throw to Greg Olsen, or they allow Cam or Christian McCaffrey to run. DJ Moore has not been a part of their goal line package so far in terms of actual usage. So you have to look at it one of two ways. If he does score, that means it's coming from deep, which is beaucoup fantasy points. But if you're gambling on a touchdown, don't expect it to come from in close. That's just the one hesitation that I would have with DJ Moore. He's ranked inside my top 35 for the week. I think you can start him in 3 wide receiver leagues. Just know that he's not the safest play in the world, like I've seen a lot of people talk him up to be. You have to consider that there's not really a floor for him. It should be okay, but it's not the greatest of all spots like people want to believe that it could be. I love the talent. I love the opportunity. The upside is there. Just remember, these things can go south in a hurry. I like Cortland Sutton more than I like DJ Moore this week, just on a 1v1 basis. No salary, no ownership. If you're just starting in your fantasy league, I still prefer Sutton in this spot over DJ Moore. In New York, Elijah McGuire will make his season debut for the New York Jets. He'll replace Trenton Cannon as the split in the backfield with Isaiah Crowell. I like McGuire. You can start him in a pinch if you have to. I like Crowell more, but McGuire should get involved like Bilal Powell, probably see like 8 to 12 carries and be the one who is involved in the passing game when Crowell goes towards the sidelines if they get down. If the game is close, expect to see a lot of Crowell. Not a whole lot of trust you can put in Lizzie McGuire, but he's someone that you can start if need be. Like, for example, If we hear that Royce Freeman is playing and you were playing Devontae Booker, I would drop Booker and go pick up Elijah McGuire and play him over Booker if all 3 running backs for Denver were active. That's just a scenario that could play itself out this week. In Dallas, Amari Cooper will play a, quote, significant amount of snaps. Super. Let's see how they utilize him. Jeff Swaim, the tight end, will probably not play Monday night against Tennessee. Theo Riddick will return for the Detroit Lions, so I bumped down Kerryon Johnson. He made up all of his value last week through the passing game, 6 receptions. If Theo Riddick is back, his snap share is going to go down. We already know Kerryon Johnson does not get the goal line work. And if you factor in that Theo Riddick, will get involved in the passing game and he'll play like anywhere from 20 to 40% of the snaps, that just hurts from the carry-on bottom line. He's not a smash play by any means. Still the best start that you can have in the Lions backfield, but not an auto play in case you have better options. Someone like Nick Chubb would become a better option this week. Even Latavius Murray with Dalvin Cook returning is still a better play than him this week. I should have mentioned that with the Minnesota game, Dalvin Cook is expected to play between 8 and 12 snaps this week. I don't know why. They have a bye week next week. You'd think you'd want to rest the guy up, but I still prefer Latavius Murray. I still think Latavius Murray is the play this week. I've been wrong on these things before. We're never going to get a true sense of how it is, but against the Lions, even with snacks clogging up the inside, I still like Latavius Murray a lot. I think you can definitely play him. I would not start Dalvin Cook in this situation unless we hear other news, which why would they tell us that? So just be cautious with Dalvin Cook here. Be happy that after the bye week, he'll return and probably retake over the role. So this is the last time that you may have Latavius Murray all season should Cook stay healthy. Kenny Stills returned to a limited practice for the Dolphins on Friday. That gives him an opportunity to play. No guarantee to play. Probably 50-50 if he sits. I love Devontae Parker, and you could probably stream Jakeem Grant and use him on DraftKings if Kenny Stills continues to sit. In Cleveland, Antonio Callaway rolled his ankle on Thursday, did not practice on Friday. He's probably not going to play against the Chiefs. Rashard Higgins practiced Thursday and Friday in a limited capacity, not necessarily a lock to play. Again, he's 50-50. So what we might see from the Browns offense is Duke Johnson split out into the slot role, have Jarvis Landry and David Njoku out there with Nick Chubb in the backfield. All these Browns options, the more you cut away, Damian Ratley is one that will play for sure, that it's going to be really concentrated in a game where Baker's probably going to have to throw 40 to 50 times. So you can use a lot of your Browns this week. They may disappoint, but the opportunity for all of them should be available this week, especially with Callaway just taken out of the equation. Finally, there's just a few other ones. Allen Robinson, limited practice on Friday. Still wouldn't expect him to go with the groin, but whether it's, even if he sits like Taylor Gabriel and Anthony Miller or Trey Burton, this Bills-Bears game just reeks of just nothing happening, a lot of running, so I don't love any of the passing options on either side of the ball. Mohamed Sanu and his hip injury returned to practice on a limited capacity on Friday. He's probably going to play. I bumped him down in the rankings, moved Calvin Ridley up a little bit, and Alex Collins returned to practice Friday with his foot injury. He should be good to go against the Steelers. Now in a 3-headed backfield with Buck Allen and the newly acquired Ty Montgomery. However, I would not expect T. Monty to be in the backfield all that match, probably relegated to special teams duty. You can start Collins, not a great start, in the mid-20s in terms of running back rankings, but still the one that you would want to start from the Ravens backfield if that was the move. All right, that was the injury report for Week 9. Go to thedkplaybook.com to find all my rankings, or just hit below in the description, and you'll find every link to every ranking, to every show, and every cheat sheet down there right now. My quest for 10 million listens/downloads on the audio podcast is still ongoing. So even if you're just watching this video, if you're not subscribed to the audio version, you don't even need to listen to it. Just please go download. Download all the shows from this week, then immediately delete them. Just download them first. That will be a great benefit to you and the Pat Mayo experience moving forward for more content, and especially to keep everything free. Smash that like button on the way out too. Good luck in Week 9. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Mayo experience! Experience!